Very good morning. මම හිතන්නේ අපි දවසකට දවසක් අපිට මිස් වුණා. I was not well, so I couldn't attend to the session. So today we are moving to the service quality. So I think we have already learned so many aspects that we require in order to have an effective CRM program. And out of those, we have learned about the marketing mix, the segmentation, the value of research, consumer behavior, and then the concept of marketing. So today our focus is to work on service quality. Now, once we do all these things, I will show you the link between all these aspects that we are discussing and the CRM. So if you want to run an effective CRM program, you need to learn, you need to have this basic knowledge and utilize those in doing that. Right. Now, when you say service quality, the service quality can be measured in any way we want, right? So we might say the quality is all about meeting our expectations. That is the easiest definition with regard to the quality. But quality, as you know, is different from person to person. How a person will assess quality will remain inside his evaluation, his mind, and his personality, his psychological construct, right? So therefore, how you assess quality and how I assess quality is totally different. This is basically, we can say, this is to some extent is influenced by the cultural aspect as well. Now there are certain cultures where the USA has a very power-based culture, the Asians have a different culture. So how the Asians and the US frame again. My apologies, I couldn't ask you first whether y'all can see me and hear me. Can you give me a response whether you can see me, hear me, and you can see the presentation as well?
Yes, sir.
This is the presentation, right? Right, okay. Right. So how an Asian will look at the service quality, how a foreigner from US will look at the service quality is completely different, right? Completely different. So therefore, quality is a subjective thing. How you assess and how some others assess will totally differ. However, there was a requirement for us to approach quality, and then there was a research that is being conducted, and as a result of this research conducted by Parasuraman, we were able to find out certain aspects which we can work on in order to improve service quality. Now, these are aspects which they found in their research is being looked by consumers in assessing quality of service, right? So we can talk about 5 such aspects, right? Responsiveness, reliability, assurance, tangibles, and empathy. So we in this particular course, we will talk about those aspects, and as well as the gaps, how the service gaps, how the gaps will be created in terms of delivering service towards the expectations of customers. Now, it is found even in the research, and it is a well-known common sense, that any organization's performance, for in that case banking sector, will depend on service quality. Now, service quality is interpreted as perceived quality in the service literature, right? So that is how the customer will perceive or see the meeting of expectations through an encounter, right? Uh, and at the same time, there are some researchers who say that the service, the quality is an attitude formed by a long-term overall evaluation of a firm's performance. Now, quality is very simply defined as conformance to standards. Conformance to standards. So if you have said that there is a standard like this, and if you meet the standard, then it is looked at as quality. So this is a very simple definition which can be given on this, right? So how the customers will assess quality in this, Huffman and Batterson says that it is not determined by a one encounter, but it is an attitude. So attitude is a feeling towards something, or it's kind of what you think, what you feel, and how you act towards certain object, right? So if you have positive attitude, you look at things positively, you see it positively, you feel it positively, and you act positively, right? So it is an attitude. So it is an attitude formed by long-term overall evaluation of a firm's performance. So if the firm has been performing consistently well, then the customer will create a feeling of positiveness towards that particular organization. So he feel the quality is good, he see the quality is good, and he consider and he behave considering the quality is good in that particular organization. Then when you look at Lovelock, he defined service quality as consistently meeting or exceeding customer expectations, right? Consistency. Now in these both statements, you find a certain word, consistency, right? So it has to be long term in over a period of time, right? So when you want to make your organization, or when you want to make your service being accepted by the customers as quality service, what you deliver, that is meeting the customer expectation, making the customer satisfied, need to be done over a period of time consistent, right? Then you also find the perceived quality of a service is the result of an evaluation process in which customers compare their expectations of service delivery and its outcome to what they expect, right? So again, it is basically talking about whether the organization is meeting the expectation. So looking at all these aspects, you find what they are talking in a very simple sense is that quality is all about meeting expectations of the client consistently over a period of time. Then when you look at Parasuraman in 1985, he defined service quality as the global evaluation or attitude of overall excellence of service. Overall excellence of service, right? Then what he says is customers will not look at only a moment, but they will look at a holistic, they will have a holistic view, they will have a broader view towards how the organizations will serve them, and the overall excellence of service is what will form the attitude of quality towards an organization. Again, we are talking about consistent performance for a period of time. Uh, Then service quality also being defined as the discrepancy between customers' expectations or desires and their perceptions. Then again, Parasuraman proposed a scale called ServQual. It is a generic measurement tool that has been utilized to assess service quality, right? Uh, Initially, he was talking about 10 dimensions, but then it was scaled down to 5 broad dimensions, which we had a look at the beginning of the session. So the 5 dimensions that he suggested, that we will be able to assess service quality is reliability. Those are reliability, responsiveness, tangibles, assurance, and empathy, right? So what he said is, when you are performing services, these aspects will help to generate an attitude towards the quality of your service level, and to generate that, these aspects need to be performed or need to be met consistently over a period of time, right? So in a very simple sense, if we really look at, I hope you can see the board well. If we summarize all what we have learned, it's very simply we can say that there are customer expectations and the delivery. Then we can talk about customer expectations and the perceived service. And then if these are met, right, what he perceived as his received service and the expectations, if this is being met, then we can say that the quality is in place, right? So you need to meet the expectations, right? So if there is a problem with expectations and perceived service, if there is a gap, then there is a problem. So if you minimize the gap, if there is no gap, then it is looked at as a quality service. If there is a gap, then problem. So if you meet customer expectations over a period of time consistently, then the customer will form an attitude the service quality is good, right? So therefore, remember, to meet quality, to generate an attitude of quality, it is important that you meet service requirements or expectations continuously. Right, now what are these 5 aspects that they are talking about? And these 5 aspects can be used by even you. You don't have to be the general manager of the bank to use this. Even as a branch manager, you can use these in order to improve service quality of your branch, of your department, of your unit, or even if your business, or the overall bank. Now, what are these aspects? First one is reliability, the ability to perform the promised service dependably and accurately, right? So dependably and accurately, the reliability, of course, is considered as one of the key factors or one of the most important factors when it comes to banking, and it is being valued by the customers to a greater extent when you deal with financial services, right? So the ability to perform the promised service dependably and accurately. Second, responsiveness, willingness to help customers, right, and to provide prompt service, willingness to help. And then tangibles. Now, tangibles talks about physical facilities, equipments, appearance of personnel, right? So basically, it talks about your branch, uh, the people, the cleanliness, the way it has been arranged, the ambience. So and the material that you use, the products, the product information, the brochures, even the mandates, right? Even the letters you send, from the letterheads to the visiting card. So all these things comes under this, right? And then assurance, knowledge and courtesy of employees, and the ability to convey trust and confidence. When a customer comes to your organization, how well you instill trust in him towards the service that he is going to get, right? and the organization. Then the empathy. Empathy is how well you care your customers. Caring, individualized attention the firm provides to its customers, right? So let's discuss about these aspects in detail. Now let's look at first the assurance, right? Now when a customer comes to your organization and when he talks to you and he tells you that I have a few millions with me and I want to invest in your bank, right? Now he will ask, okay, how sure I am that your bank is stable? So you should be able to convince him that your bank is stable. Or if you say, sir, you can put the money, but we cannot give you any assurance, then they will not put money, right? So you must say, no, we are the best bank. We are the best bank. We're the most strongest, right? And your money is safe with us, right? Don't worry, you invest. We give you the highest return. Right? Have confidence, right? So it is very important that you instill confidence in a person by assuring the quality, assuring the reliability, assuring the ability of the firm to deliver the service he expects from you, right? So, and a frontliner or the employees of the organization should have such talent to inspire trust and confidence in a customer, right? So that dimension actually helps to minimize the risk related to the bank and also to make the customers confident to stay with you, right? Now giving assurance will come from the knowledge that your employees have, right? So your employees who deal with the customers should have been trained, should have enough knowledge and the technical experience in doing what they are supposed to do. For example, when a customer comes to you, you should be able to give him the best solution, the best product mix, right? The best rate, best advice, right? And the customer, when he gets your advice, should benefit out of it. And when you do this over a period of time, they will say, if you go to this bank, if you meet this person, you will get the best advice. Therefore, that firm or that bank is better, superior. Right? So there are certain customers who will consult the branch manager, who will consult the bank manager when they want to make investment decisions, when they want to take loans, or when they want to finance their projects, when they want to have certain export orders being done, when they want to negotiate certain terms with the importers and exporters, right? So these these things will happen and the customers will have such confidence only when you give them service where they benefit from your advices over a period of time. Now apart from that, this can also go even to the simple encounter like a call center receiving a call. Now when a customer calls you and asks, what is my balance? Sir, balance is, but I'm not sure, sir. Now if you say like that, that is gone, right? So you must people say, sir, balance is this. Yeah, are you sure? Yes, I'm very sure. What is this promotion? This promotion is this. Very clearly explained, right? Promotion, I also have so therefore this assurance is a critical factor to build confidence in the clients towards the quality of your service. So when you say things and what you say will work for them and what you say is true over a period of time, then they will say, okay, this is a place where we have confidence to deal with. So this can be done only when you train your employees or when you put experts into the areas or when you develop knowledge and experience of your employees to deliver the service first time, right? Or give the best advice using their experience and the knowledge. Now that is why we say a bank manager, a good bank manager should be a well experienced person with good knowledge on banking. So if you have such bank managers, those bank managers will be looked at as consultants to the customers, not just people to come and get transactions done, right? So assurance. Now, how about assurance and customer satisfaction? uh, Increase assurance of banking industry through the polite and friendly staff, provisions of financial advice, interior comfort, easy to access account, and a knowledgeable and experienced management team cause to increase satisfaction of customers. Now, these are all research findings, right? Then another research says trustworthy behavior of employees and secure transactions of both public and private banks positively influence to repurchase intention of customers. Right? So you can see the research being done. Employees' behavior instill confidence in customers, and employees' knowledge to answer customers' problems provide higher satisfaction of private banks than public banks. Now, these are all extracted statements extracted from research that has been done, as you see on the PowerPoint slide. Right. Next dimension is empathy. Now, what is empathy? Empathy is defined as the caring, individualized attention that the firm provides to its customers. The essence of empathy is conveying through personalized or customized service that customers are unique and special and that their needs are understood. Right? Now, I would like to emphasize on two words out of this whole slide. Right? Now, customer certainly want to feel understood, and the customer is unique. Right? Customer is always unique, and customer wants to feel that he is understood. Now, this is quite a challenge for the service organizations, because as you know, the service is not like a product, it is an encounter, right? So you are there as the service delivery personnel, and there is a customer who comes to you, and that particular customer is so unique, but you have a standard product. Now, how you will deal with it? Now, this is the challenge that you will have. So therefore, in the banking sector, it is a quite an evident challenge where the customer comes and says, this bank manager doesn't understand me. He doesn't understand my project. Okay? Now, one of the reasons is that you are sometimes not willing to listen to the customer, but most of the time are driven by your own perceptions or own past experience. Now, that hinders new innovations being presented. Right? So that is again kind of a challenge the banking industry face, because most of the bankers are very conventional and traditional and more towards securitized lending. They lend based on security, but very few bankers have the ability to understand customers, understand their unique requirements, and go towards more customized and potential based lending. Right? So that is where you find customers comes and say the bank right? So therefore, it is said that when you are managing a branch or when you are managing customers as relationship managers, it is critical that you understand the customer first, because remember, what you have given as a solution to A person will not suit for B. So therefore, look at every customer as an individual unique encounter, and try to understand his requirement first before you dump him with your standard products or proposals, right? And if you can have customized solution for the bank, for the customers, certainly the customers will feel that you are giving them individualized attention, which will increase their attitude towards quality, with the service encounter they have with you, right? Now, apart from the facilities or the offers or the services that you customize, things like convenient opening hours, right? And sometimes understanding them and waiving off charges, giving them extended settlement plans, restructuring their facilities, understanding their issues, right? And basically waiving off certain penalties, charges. Uh, Now these are all comes under this. Now we have seen during the past Corona period, there were a lot of customers who have faced problems. So they come to you and say, see, look at our history. We have been paying perfectly well, but this time we have missed the payment. Don't charge us penalty. Now, under such circumstances, if you try to be rigid and say, no, 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 you have missed the payment, we are going to charge, banks were open, you should have come. Those things will not make the customer happy, right? You must have empathy towards him. There are certain people who can come even during that time where the curfew was on, but the banks were open. But there are certain people who were afraid to come, certain elderly people, certain people who are not very strong in their health, but certain people who got stuck in certain remote places. There were issues. So when the issues were escalated, we have looked at those with a lot of empathy, understanding his background, the situation, and then looking at his past behavior, and we have given a lot of solutions. So this is very critical when you handle customers. Now we have learned about segmentation some time back. That is one of the ways to handle this. Now you cannot sometimes give certain solutions to every individual based on their individual needs, customization. But sometimes for certain segments, there are certain needs that are common, and as such, you will be able to serve them by segmenting them. For example, the priority customers of your bank, the top millionaires. Now they have certain common requirements. They prefer secrecy, they prefer best investment advisors, they have money, right? And then they prefer individual personalized service, such as coming to their house to get things done, or handling them over the phone, right? Or having them having a very exclusive place for them to park their vehicles conveniently and walk into the branch, right? And to have a dedicated person who understands them and serves them. So when you understand the behavior of this segment, you can define your service design in such a way that they feel that they have been treated as individuals. Customized service has been given and individualized attention has been given. So that is where the banks create premium centers, or the high net worth branch, the certain branches to serve high net worth clients, so that when they go to those branches or when they deal with those relationship managers, their encounters are totally different. So how you work with people in the villages, how you work with people in the city, how you work with the high net worth clients, how you work with the small and medium entrepreneurs, how you work with the multinational company. Now, these individuals have different requirements, personalities. So it is important that you understand them. So each one of them should feel that you understand them, you are trying to help them, you care for them, right? And as a result of that, they feel, okay, this is good quality service because they are giving what we want. So next aspect is empathy. Now let's look at some research findings. Empathy means taking care of the customers by giving individual attention to them. And also empathy includes convenient and flexible working hours and location. So convenience is the key factor here. Convenience, right? So you make the customer convenient dealing with you. How? By understanding his patterns. Right. Now, for example, the banks, when they extend their working hours, when they have branches running till 10 o'clock, when they opened cash deposit machines, certain people were very happy. I remember some people who were having shops, they used to tell us, now the bank understands us. We finish our shop at 6 o'clock. We have a lot of cash. We find it very difficult to keep it at shop, and uh, we are always excited that, or basically at risk, that our money is at risk, right? But when the branches are open till 10 o'clock, when the cash deposit counters are open and the cash deposit machines are in place, we can, on our way back home, we can deposit our money and go. So that reduced our tension and the risk of holding cash after doing the business for a particular day. Now the customer says, bank has understood us. They are given us a superb service. Now, why are they saying that? Because you have met a requirement that they have. Right? Now they find it very convenient to deal with you. Right? What you have done is that you have made extended banking hours. So flexible working hours. Location, when the bank goes closer to them, or when you have certain facilities like going to the home of the client, like the mobile ATMs. So those things will improve the customer's feeling towards the bank, that the bank understands us and cares for us. Now, during Corona period, we saw certain banks doing this. There were certain clients who found it difficult to walk out. Now they said, even if you want to go to a branch, if you want to go to ATM, you can still go. But then there are certain people who are afraid to go. The elders, the people who are not fit, not healthy, right? They didn't have a chance to go. So certain banks organized mobile ATMs, and the response of those customers was so good, right? So they are delighted. They were saying, we are very thankful to our bank for understanding and sending a mobile ATM to our area to withdraw cash and to do our banking. So there are certain initiatives you can take to make the customer feel that you care for them. Those are very important, right? Customers may remain unsatisfied with certainty if gap is left in empathy. If they feel that you don't care for them, or you are only talking about standard stuff and you have nothing to meet their real requirements, then they will not be happy with you. Right? Customers are highly satisfied with flexible service hours and personal attention to them regarding banking activities. These are all research findings. Especially private banks, customers prefer to transact their banks due to this individualized attention to them. Now, what they say is, certain banks, they have their own rigid structures and procedures. So they don't give special attention to the customers, or individualized attention. But certain private banks have come up with individualized attention, whereas the customer feel, when I go to the private bank, I've been looked after well, but when I go to this particular bank, I have not been looked after well. They look at me as another customer, and they have standard practices, whereas the private bank look at me as an important customer and have and care for me and look after me and give attention to me. So this may have happened because the private banks are more profit oriented compared to the state banks. But I'm not telling state banks are not good, but then compared to the state banks, private banks may go a little more to an extent to cater or pamper the customer, because they want to make sure that the customer stays with them. Okay? Customers in banking sector are highly satisfied to take attention from employees because they can solve their all transaction and other financial problem uh, arising regarding banking sector by discussing with the customer. Again, research finding. So customers like to come to and talk to you, right? So they want to stay with you, have a discussion with you, and they want to tell about their financial problems and find a solution from you, right? So this is something the customers like to do, right? Positive employee activities of the banking sector highly associated to increase customer satisfaction, while negative associations cause to dissatisfaction of the customer, right? So the the customers, when they meet the employees, if they have a positive association, then they will be very happy, and then they will feel they have got a quality service. Otherwise they will have a negative perception towards your organization. Now it is again something for us to research. With the digitalization, we are going more towards non face to face channels. So how you include empathy into these digital channels is still an area where we need to improve, right? Where we need to improve, especially in cultures such as in Sri Lanka, where the people like to talk to others and then have relationships, and who are not very much used to the digital channels. So under this aspect, it is clear for us that as human beings, that we all want some caring, some individualized attention, and the employees of a bank should understand that they should give it to the customer, and should find time to talk to customers, to have discussions with customers, and give them a cup of coffee, right? And give them a little present once in a while, right? And make them feel that they have been cared, they have been looked after, they have been given due attention. Next aspect is reliability. Reliability is defined as the ability to provide accurate and dependable service. Now, when a customer asks from you a particular letter, that letter has to be given with accuracy, right? You need to confirm the balance, right? You need to confirm if there's a card numbers, expiries, the credit limits, right? Right. Sometimes the letters that you give, when they give to get their visas, or when they give to get a certain contracts, they might face problems if you don't give them a right letter. So you might give them a wrong letter, and when they apply for visa, their visa might get rejected. You will give a wrong card number, and when they try to travel, they will face problems, right? So therefore, reliability is something that the banker cannot compromise. Actually, banker cannot compromise on this aspect, right? So whatever he do, the information he give over phone in writing needs to be 100% accurate, because that is going to affect the customer in big time. Now, for example, if a customer calls you and asks, what is my available balance of my credit card? And you say a figure, you say 5,000 rupees. Customer goes and do a transaction in a restaurant with their business partners, and then he gives a kind of a snack, and he gives the card. Bill is, let's say, 4,000 rupees, and the cards get declined, and the waiter comes and say, sir, card is declined. Now he feels so embarrassed. Then he calls the bank, and the bank might say, okay, we are sorry, we have given you a wrong balance. There was a pending transaction. As a result of that, now your balance is 3,000. The customer will get mad, and that will create inside him that the information I get from this bank is not accurate. And next time, before he pulls this particular card, he will think 5 times whether this balance is right, whether this balance, he is in tension. He calls the call center, they say balance is 10,000. Are you sure? You double check it. You double check it. Yeah, it is sure, but still he is thinking, should I use this card? Because he is afraid. Now, when you give wrong information, this is what happens. When you compromise on reliability or give wrong information, they will find it difficult to depend on your banks and difficult to depend on your products. And as a result of that, they will feel that your service is not of good quality. Okay? So whatever the promises you make sure that you deliver it, so that the customer will start depending on you. Right? So your bank statements need to be accurate, should go on time. If you promise that you will reverse certain charges, reverse it. Make sure that the charges are not there, right? Then if the customer is having a problem related to pricing, or if they related to some aspects of his product, then whatever the solution you give, it has to be 100% correct. So do the correct thing first time and do the correct thing consistently. Accuracy. So when you do this, what will happen is customers will start believing in you. And when they start believing in you, they will use your products and they will come to your bank with confidence. Otherwise, they will not. Now we have seen certain customers say, I think there's no point calling that call center. What they don't know what they're doing. So they are not giving the right answer. So what do? They call friends in the bank. So sometimes when they call certain bank officers, Madam, I'm calling you because I'm not sure about your call center. Give me information. Now, if this happens, that means the customer has lost confidence on your call center number. Sometimes the customer may not say this to a branch. He say, I can't go to that branch manager. That branch manager is not giving the right information. Based on his information, I have done certain investment, I have taken certain loans, I have found what he has told is completely wrong. Therefore, I don't want it. So then now they have lost confidence on that particular branch, and in return on the bank, right? So then sometimes they might say, ayo, that salesperson, don't send him. So if there's a sales guy, I'm not going to give him even an appointment. Send me a bank officer. Now what has happened? They lost confidence on the service arm of the bank because they have given wrong information and they have faced issues. So now they are saying, don't send us salesperson, send us bank officers. Now, when these things happen, when the customers lose confidence on your delivery channels and the touch points, such as the call center, branch, salespeople, right, branch managers, then end of the day, that will affect the entire brand of the bank. Right? Ultimately, they will say, Banco Veda. So therefore, in every point where there is an interaction with the customer and your employees and with your organization, you have to make sure the accuracy is in place. The reliability is looked at. When that happens, you will instill confidence in people to depend on your bank and your products. Reliability is considered as most important factor in convincing customers to retain in banking services. these are our research findings. Again, another one. Consider reliability as reputation. Reliability as reputation. That can be the most reliable indicator of service quality, which could be related to customers' past experience. That is true. No? If you have dealt with certain organizations, and if you have fall into trouble due to wrong information, next time when you want to buy or basically get the services, you are in doubt. So if banks provide more reliable and supportive services that fulfill the demand and expectation of customers, customers will be more confident to use the services of the bank. So findings, as you can see by certain researchers regarding reliability and customer satisfaction. According to Sethmill and Bittner, service providers' apologies start to wear thin when company is careless in performing the service, when it makes frequent mistakes, and when it is casual about keeping its service promises. So I'm not telling there can be an organization which is 100% mistake free. There can be issues due to technical reasons, due to the people that has been employed, right? Due to some communication gaps. There can be issues, but those cannot be continued. So you can apologize to a customer once, but if you are continuously apologizing to a customer, that apology is of no use. So reliability is an aspect where you find little difficult to maintain at 100%, although it is required to do so. But still, make sure that you will not repeat mistakes and you are not careless, negligent in performing your services, so that even if you apologize, your apology will have some value. Otherwise, your apology will not have any value. That the customer will say, "Hamadam sorry kiya, hamadam sorry kiya." And when a customer, there are certain customers, maybe unfortunate things happens to, right? So the same mistake has been, the few mistakes have happened to the same customer. So he say, "Medat make a kiwa, medat make a kiwa, medat make ona, make ona, make ona." Now, and he's saying, "Ogolange banko vedak ne." Your bank is not reliable. Now, what has happened? Over a period of time, instead of getting experiences where he find what he got is accurate and reliable, he has faced mistakes. So what is happening now? He's forming an attitude. Bank sure, bank is not reliable. So therefore, make sure that you don't do this. You don't repeat mistakes and apologize all the time, so that you will lose the positive attitude towards your bank. Right? So hence it is quite essential to provide excellent service at the first time, exhibit sincere effort in solving problems, and provide error-free record and consistently fulfill promises to prevent customers from defecting to other banks. Sincere effort to solve problems. The customer should feel that you are sincerely trying to solve a problem. Right? So, excellence in delivering the service first time right. So that means you are not negligent, you are not careless. Right? Error-free records, error-free statements, error-free letters, right? Error-free confirmations. Consistently fulfill promises. You promise something, you deliver it, so that when you promise, customer is happy. So I have encountered this, I have done this for a longer time. When I am dealing with customers, if I promise something, I make sure I deliver. Therefore, when a customer calls, and even if I tell him, "Sir, you wait for 2 weeks, I'll get this sorted for you," they will wait for 2 weeks without calling. Why? because you have developed that attitude. If this person says he will sort it out within 2 weeks, he will do it. Or in that case, to a bank at large, when I call a bank or this particular bank and tell my problem, and if they tell me that they are going to solve it, they will do it. I don't have to call him every day. So they believe in your promises. So what I am trying to tell you is reliability is a key factor for the customers to patronize your bank. Patronize your bank. When you look at US, it is one of the most important. It is the most important factor. And even when you look at banking sector, I would say for the customers, it is one of the most important. At the it's kind of the highest thing, or the thing that they really want a bank to do. Because they don't expect a bank to do a mistake at all. Right? So reliability. The next factor that we are talking is responsiveness. Responsiveness is firm's willingness to assist its customers. So we are talking about fast and efficient service. Fast. When a customer wants something, you give it when he has the requirement. Right? He comes to you that he wants to purchase a house, you must give it before someone else purchases it. Right? And if you delay the housing loan for a week or two, then the customer will find there's no point. Right? I am trying to buy a house and these guys are delaying it. As a result of that, I'm losing it. Or I'm trying to buy a vehicle. Now there are certain customers who say, I'm going to buy this vehicle, I want it done today. Now, if you say, no, can't give it today, I will give you tomorrow, vehicle won't be there. So, it is very important you give a solution when there is a need. There are certain customers who comes to you asking for credit facilities. And there is a particular need, right? So, I need money now. So, when they need money, you must give. If you delay it for a longer time and try to give it, sometimes he may not need it, or he may have already faced uh, negative consequences as a result of the delay in receiving funds. So they will not be happy. They apply for a credit card because they want to get a promotion sometimes, right? Now you have a promotion, let's say the promotion for this particular week, or this 2 weeks promotion, you apply today, and if you get it end of the after a month, no point, because the promotion you wanted to spend is gone, right? So when a customer has a need, you must give your product fast, and have your processes, efficient processes, to meet these requirements when that need is there, right? So the willingness to help and to assist customers quickly and provide them efficient service. The dimension emphasizes attentiveness and promptness in dealing with customer requests, questions, complaints, and problems. In this, research need to be measured how far these dimensions are affected customer satisfaction. So let's look at some research findings. Responsiveness is a firm's willingness to assist its customers by providing fast and efficient service performance. Further, it is reached that willingness or readiness of employees to provide the required customer service without any inconvenience at any time will strongly influence the level of customer satisfaction. This is Parasuraman. Responsiveness factor such as promptness in service delivery, willingness to employees to help customers, banks' performance, timely delivery of bank statements, have power to absorb dialectical customers towards both public and private banking sector. These are research findings. Right. Now, very simply, now let's look at very practical scenarios. When a customer walks into your branch, how well you acknowledge him, how fast he can reach to an employee, right? When he tries to call the call center of a particular bank, how fast he can sort out his matter, how fast he can reach an agent. When he has a problem, when he has a complaint, the moment he makes the complaint, how fast he will receive a reply, how fast he will give a solution, he'll be given a solution. All these things shows how willing or how fast you are trying to meet the requirement of the customer. And imagine yourself as the customer, and if you go to a branch and immediately if someone says, "Hi sir, how are you, can I help you," you feel very delighted. And when you try to call a call center, rather than saying press 1 for this, press 2 for this, and now once you do that, press A for this, press B for this, right? And likewise, if not, someone answers, "Hi sir, how are you, how can I help you," now you are very happy. So if the customers feel the organizations is very responsiveness, very willing, and trying to help them when they want them, then they feel the quality is good. So they should feel, when I want something, my bank is there to help me, and they are really willing to serve me. They are really willing to serve me. They will do it fast, they will do it very efficiently, they will do it with less time, and I have to exert less effort. And as a result of that, they say the quality is good. You ask certain customers, what do you think about certain bank? They say, okay, this particular bank services of high quality. So you might ask, why? No, when I go there, they treat me well. When I go there, I have a special relationship manager. When I go there, I have a special counter. Now, in HSBC, they have a separate counter for premier clients. They have a red carpet, right? So they say, okay, we have been looked after. Certain banks says their premier customers can walk into the cubicle of a branch manager of any branch in their network. So they feel, right, okay, when I want some service, the bank is there for me. Very easy for me to get the service. Right? Certain banks whitelist their customers, and when they call centers, those have been answered by dedicated call agents. Right? So when their premier customers call, within a one ring they will answer. So the premier customers feel, all right, I call, I've been answered very quickly. Now, even for that case, if you look at telcos, they also have their priority customers get fast access to the agents. Normal customers may have to stay in the queues, call queues. So based on the segments, also there has been certain differentiations that has been done. Right. Okay. So responsiveness, how willing you are, and how you will make the customer feel that your bank is willing to support them, willing to assist, willing to help. Then the fifth, the final aspect is tangibles. Now, tangibles are defined as the appearance of physical facilities, equipment, personnel, and communication material. Tangibles provide physical representation or the image of the service that customers will get, and the customer will evaluate quality initially looking at the physical evidence. Right? For example, interior design, the ambience, the lighting, the appearance of employees, tidiness, the premises, the building, the material that has been used, the quality of promotion materials, even the leaflet, the quality of the letterheads that has been used, the sofas, all those things comes under this. Right? So when they walk into a particular organization, particular bank, first they look at the surrounding and say, okay, all right, okay, very nice place, nice people, right? And based on that, they create an image. Okay, I'm going to get a service of this nature. Even for you, it is the same. When you walk into a certain place, even in that case for a hotel, even in that case for a hospital, even in that case for a salon, by looking at the ambience, looking at the physical evidence surrounding and the people, you get a feeling, okay, I'm going to get a service like this. So you say, look at the quality of that sofa, look at the quality and the tidiness of the place. Sometimes if the place is neat and tidy, you think your food is also same, right? So you have to go to the behind of the hotel, to the kitchen to see the reality. But sometimes when you go and see the hotel is so neat, tidy, and very clean, you feel the food is also hygienic, isn't it? Now, when you go on a trip and you want to stay you want to have your meals or eat something or drink tea, how are you assessing? Are you going to the kitchen? No. You are looking at the surrounding, you are looking at the cleanliness, the tidiness of the place, the people, and the surrounding. And you are saying, this hotel seems to be good. So this is the same thing, right? So when you have a clean, neat, tidy, nice place and nice people, the people feel that they are going to receive quality service, right? So that is a very important aspect, because as I told you earlier, people cannot judge the service until they receive it. We discussed it under service, the the unique characteristics of service, right? Under intangibleness, right? So therefore, they look at certain evidence to assess what kind of service they are going to get. Tangible represent physical aspect of the services and all tools and equipment used to provision of service. According to Lada Morales, idea of tangibles role in banking sector is key tool to achieve customer attention. All the customers in both public and private sector visually attract to all technological things provisioned by banking sector, because tangibles and tangible service are equally important to the success of the organization. Now, Tax and Brown in 1998 talks that when you have certain technological devices, that also an attraction. Now, the certain self centers you have, people feel like, let's go and see, right? So they like these technological stuff being placed, and they are attracted towards those, right? Customer in the private sector banks invest more trust with physical facilities and more attractive decors around the banks. Now, this is why most of the banks are so worried about the branch outlook. You have not seen any bank which has had a very shabby or very ugly or kind of a place where it is not properly painted or properly constructed. All banks have very nice, good places where they keep the place, the ambience very nice. The reason is that if you keep a bad place, or if you keep without painting, without cleaning, without repairing, or without keeping the standards of the sofas, and if your branch is not being clean, the people walking will feel this bank may have a problem. They are unable to keep their branch premises proper, right? So are they stable? This question can come in, right? And when they see the people, if they are not very clean, tidy, nice, smart, beautiful, smart looking, then they feel, are these people good enough to handle my money? Are these people very respectable people who will not rob my money? Now these are things that will come if you don't keep the physical evidence right. So that is why you say the people in the bank at the front line, they should appear smart. You are talking about their dress, you're talking about wearing a tie, you're talking about even the colors, you're talking about uniform, you're talking about how to comb the hair. Now, why is that? Because you don't want them to appear uh, as people who cannot be trusted. You want them to appear as very nice, smart gentlemen, nice, uh, nice people who are who are respectable and who are having some status, so that the people will feel confident to put their money or deal with you. So these tangibles play a major role when customers assess the quality of service. Right. Having said that, it is also important for you to understand that when the customers wants to look at the service encounter, they look at three things. So they look at when they want to have the evidence of service, or basically what kind of service I will get, or assess the service, they will look at three factors critically. First one is the people, right? Who am I going to work with? Second one is the physical evidence, right? What kind of a place that I'm going to have this service being given, delivered. Then the process. What is the process, right? So now look at yourself. You have gone to apply a loan. Now, how you will assess the encounter? You will, if you ask a person, what do you think about? You say, the credit manager was so good. He understood my problem and gave me a good solution. That is people factor. Then he will say, when I went to apply for the loan, I was very comfortable. I was given a cup of tea. I went to a place where there is AC and a nice sofa, a very convenient, relaxing place where I had a chat with them. Now, what is he talking? Physical evidence. Then he say, okay, I got the loan very fast. There were no unnecessary documentation. Everything was done seamlessly. And when I wanted the loan within 24 hours, I got it within 24 hours. What is he talking about? Talking about process. Right? So based on these three factors, he will say, my encounter in taking a loan was superb. Or on the other side, horrible. Now, similarly, when you want to go and open an account, you say, okay, I went to this particular bank to open an account. The person who gave me the service was superb. He welcomed me. He explained about different types of accounts, different interest rates, right? Now, what is this person? And then they talk about the process. I was given certain forms to be filled, and it was so easy. There were no any unnecessary things. It was very short, so I filled the form, and then within few minutes they issued me the passbook, and then the card was issued then and there. How the counter pin was given, and then my card was activated immediately. And here I am. I'm very happy that I got my account open very quickly. What are they talking? Process. Or they might say, I, without going to the bank branch, I went to a machine, and the machine, I entered my details, and I got my card, and I got my pin, and it was done instantly. What are they talking? Process. Then they will talk about the other factors also. When I went into the branch, it was so clean, nice, tidy, ambience was superb. I had a very relaxing experience. Physical evidence. Right? So when people assess service encounters, these three factors play a major role in their assessment towards quality. Right? So therefore, you have to work on these three areas when you are trying to improve service quality of your organization. Okay? So all this time what we are talking about is service quality dimensions. So now let me recap with you. Can you remember the dimensions? We talked about assurance, right? We talked about tangibles. We talked about empathy. We talked about reliability. We talked about responsiveness, right? So then we understood what it means, right? So to summarize or to recap it in a nutshell: reliability, the ability to perform the promised service dependably and accurately. So when you do this over a period of time, the customers will feel it is trustworthy and they can depend on your bank. Then responsiveness, willingness to help customers and to provide prompt service. So they will feel, if I go to this particular bank, I will get their attention very quickly. They will help me very quickly. Tangibles, they will feel, okay, if I go to this particular bank, I will have a very convenient, very conducive, very nice environment where I can bank with them, right? And based on the appearance of the people, premises, the cleanliness, the tidiness, the physical facilities that your bank provides to the customers, they will assess the quality of service. Assurance, right? So how knowledge and courtesy of employees and the ability to convey trust and confidence. So when they deal with employees of your organizations, whether they will feel that they got the best solution, that they got the right solution, they dealt with the right bank, right? And they feel confident to invest their money, take facilities, and continue your services. Next, the empathy, caring, individualized attention the firm provides to its customers. So when a customer walks into your branch, whether he will feel that he is being looked after, he is being given due attention, and he has been cared. So when you have these, when you work on these 5 dimensions, the overall service quality or the attitude of customer towards the quality of service that you provide will improve over a period of time. And when you improve these areas, or when you meet expectations of clients in these dimensions, then over a period of time they will say the service quality of this bank is superb, right? So this is something that we need to learn. Now why it is so important? Because we know service quality has a direct impact towards the satisfaction, and we know the basis of relationship is nothing else but the continuous customer satisfaction. Okay, so now it's 10:12. We have covered the service quality dimensions. If you have any questions, you may ask now. Any questions? Right. So then what we'll do is we'll take a 15 minutes break. Then we will meet again at 10:30. Right. Can all of you see me and hear me?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Fine. So let's start. Right. Now we have been talking about the service quality and how the service quality can be looked at, assessed, and when you want to improve quality, what you should do. Now, there have been questions in the past papers how, as a branch manager, you will improve quality of service in your branch. How will you improve quality of your bank? Because there are certain questions of similar nature that have been asked from you. Now, in the before you learned this lesson, if someone asks you how to improve quality of your branch, then you will not have an organized approach. You will say we'll do this, that, and okay, it might help, it might not help. But now you have an organized approach, right? So you will say how to improve quality of my bank. I will improve reliability. That is, I will ensure what is promised is delivered accurately and make customers feel that they can depend on our service. Then second, you can say, as the branch manager, I will ensure my employees will instill confidence and trust towards our services by giving good solutions and talking sense, right? So I will make sure that my employees are updated, they are knowledgeable, they will be trained, and as a result of that, when they talk to the people will feel confident to deal with us. Then uh, the assurance should happen continuously by giving continuously right information. Then the tangibleness, you will say, as the branch manager, I will ensure that my branch premises is kept neat and tidy, and the equipments are kept in proper order, and the facilities available, the ambience, and the people who serve the customers will look smart and uh, good, right? Even the communication material will be done or will be made of available, making it with high quality, right? Certain things like that. And then as a branch manager, you can do this also. You can walk around the branch, make sure the branch is clean, make sure it is being refurbished, or repairs are properly done, keep the equipments at the right place, make sure the space is available, the arrangements are properly done, and your branch look neat to the customer, right? The lighting is properly organized, hang some beautiful pictures, right? And make sure the customers can find their requirements like the deposit slips, pen, kind of things very easily, and then they find find information like brochures, and they will find it easy to walk into places because you have named and tagged counters. So these are all things that you can do, right? And to make your branch experience in your branch and the facilities available in your branch will make the customers very convenient, right? And make them feel happy, and make them give some evidence that the service they are going to get is of good quality. Then how you will improve empathy? Now, this is something you need to do by training your people. So, recruiting the right people, right? And then training the people to have emotional intelligence, training the people to listen to the customers, understand customers, give them some authority to take decisions, right? Give them scripts, standards, and telling them to uh, have flexibility in whatever they deal, and to refer to the branch manager for important matters for flexibility when it is required, and before think twice before denying service or denying to help a customer. These are all things you can do. And then responsiveness, Then you can say, okay, how you manage the queues to make sure the customers are responded quickly, how you make sure that when a customer comes for a facility, that is being assessed and quickly disperse the facility, how you make sure that accounts are opened very quickly when they come, and they are being given whatever the services that they service, whatever the information they require fast. When there is a complaint, how fast you will act on it, and how to respond to the customer and keep him updated about the progress. When there's a problem that has been escalated to you, how fast you will find solution. All these things will improve the responsiveness aspect, right? So as a branch manager, as a bank, you can work on these areas. So when you work on these areas, ultimately the perception, or when you do a continuous improvement, the whole attitude of the customer towards the bank, the service will improve, right? So the may විදියට තමයි you have to write to the question. Now you can't write to the question the way you want, right? අපිට ඕන ඕන ලියන්න බෑ. When you are asked to see say uh, give us a plan to improve quality, you have to use these models. එහෙම නැත්නම් there's no point learning. When you ask even from a bank counter staff teller, he will also have some ideas. These ideas may work, may not work, right? But it is always good to have a methodical approach in developing service quality from the strategic point of view, and in doing that you can use this model. Right. Now, this is an example of a questionnaire where you can assess the present status and also use to improve your service levels. Now, look at how they assess the dimensions, tangibles. They are asking the questions. You can ask from yourself whether your bank, whether your branch or the department is also having these have met these areas, and then what is the status, right? And you can give some scoring to it, and then see if you feel that it is poor or very poor or satisfactory, good. How can you make them go towards excellence? So question can be, the bank has modern looking equipments. So you ask the question, do we have modern looking equipments, or whether we have some uncleaned, very old equipments around. The bank's physical facilities are visually appealing. The bank's employees are neat in appearing. Right? Materials associated with the service, such as forms, brochures, statements, visually appealing at the bank. So you can ask these questions and assess under the dimension tangibles where you stand. Right? Then reliability. Ask the question, bank services are performed within the promised time. When you promise that you will uh, give a credit card, will you give a credit facility, are you doing it on time with the promised time? When a customer comes to your bank to open an account, if you tell him we will open it within 5 minutes, are you going to open it like that? So ask those questions, are performed within promised times. When I have a problem, the bank's employees show sincere interest in solving the problem. Have you displayed it to your customers? Do your customers feel that you have a sincere interest in solving the problem? Something you can ask from your clients, right? The bank correctly performs the service right the very first time. How many complaints you have received with regard to the mistakes, negligence in performing or giving service? The bank provides its service right the first time. The bank insists on error-free records. How you have made that your records are error-free? Are you generating letters, statements from your computer, or are you generating it or as a manual process, through a manual process? Is it being looked at by one officer or two officers? How many complaints you have got regarding the errors? Then responsiveness. In the bank, I do not spend much time waiting in line. Is this what your customers say? Or is the customer coming and telling you, I have been in the queue for long time, I wasted my time? Bank employees are always willing to help. Is it true? Are they saying, sir, come here, can I help you? Or are they looking to the other side when they see a customer? Or are they getting busy when they see a customer trying to pass him to the next person? Bank employees are quick in eliminating potential errors. Right. So if they see a problem, are they correcting it and making sure that it will not be repeated? Right. And when they see that the customer is having a problem or when there is an error, are they quick in attending to it and trying to solve it? Bank employees quickly respond to my requests. When a customer calls to the bank, how fast he can get connected, how quickly he will get a solution. Assurance measurements. Bank employees are trustworthy. Right? Are they? When they say something, are they delivering the promise? Or when they make a statement, is it always correct? Right? I feel safe in my transactions with the bank. Is your customers feeling safe? Right? Right? Have you made them feel safe? Bank employees consistently courteous towards me. So are they treating customers nicely and kindly, right? So that the customers will feel happy. Bank employees have the knowledge to answer my questions. So when a customer comes and talks to your frontline, how knowledgeable they are, or are they telling wrong information? Are they giving wrong information? Whereas when customers depend on those information and they get into trouble. And how many complaints you have received that this particular person said that there is a promotion, but it was not there. I used my card expecting this promotion, this waiver, this refund. I didn't get it. Or how many times they are saying I have been given a wrong advice. Empathy. The bank provides me an individual attention. Do your customers feel that they have been given individual attention? Are they saying when I go to this bank, they always talk to me and they give me attention? The bank has convenience operating hours to my need. Are you making your customers comfortable by having operating hours where you meet the need of the customer rather than what organization wants? The bank has employees who give me personal attention. So are you getting personal attention when you go to a bank? Is the employees willing to talk to you and solve your problems, listen to you? The bank considers my wishes and needs. So when I have my wishes, when I have my requirements, can I go to the bank, discuss those and get a solution for those? Bank employees show understanding of my specific needs. Do they show that they understand my specific needs? Now you can ask from the customers, you can uh, uh, have a quantitative and a qualitative research and find out where you stand under these dimensions, 5 dimensions, by looking at these measurement criteria. Another way, right? So look at how you can assess these dimensions. The bank perform its service without errors. Bank services are performed within the promised time. Bank employees show sincere concerns in solving my problems related to bank business operation. The bank correctly performs a service from very first time. The bank performs a service exactly as promised. Bank regularly send me bank statements on my account balance to my home address. I have not had difficulties with bank cards of this bank. So when there is a change being requested, is it has it been done? So I got a statement and I'm requesting change the address. Are they sending to the correct address next time, or they are saying, we couldn't change it still? When you change the bank standing orders, will it happen then and there? All these things comes under reliability. When you want something done, whether it is happening. Okay? Bank employees quickly, the responsiveness. Bank employees quickly respond to my request. Bank employees are always willing to help me. Bank employees are quickly in eliminating potential errors. In the bank, I do not spend much time waiting in line. You ask from your customers, are they feeling this way or some other way, right? Assurance, right? Bank employees tell me exactly when a service will be performed. Right? So when you go there, you say, okay, you can get a credit card within 14 days. You will get a housing loan within 48 hours. Or you will get a leasing facility within 24 hours. You will get a leasing facility within 6 hours. So when they say a particular time, are they delivering? Bank statement delivered properly monthly to my address and are clear and understandable. So, as promised, are they delivering statements to me? Now, when you say credit card, when you are in credit card industry, there are a lot of complaints from the customers. I didn't receive the statements. I couldn't pay. Why have you charged interest? I didn't get it to the right address. You didn't change my address. The statement is not right. So, if you have such issues, the customers will not feel confident about your service. Bank employees are trustworthy. When they talk to me, when they give me a solution, when they give me a promise, are they delivering it properly, right? Are they trustworthy? What they say, is it right? When they say something, can I trust them? Bank employees are kind and polite. When I talk to them, they are kind, they are polite, right? They are not very harsh on me. Bank employees are knowledgeable enough to reliably respond to my questions. When I ask them a question about the exchange rate, can they give me a knowledgeable answer about the fluctuations and about the predictions? How knowledgeable they are when I want to talk to them about my LC facilities, export facilities. How knowledgeable they are when I want to talk to them about uh, certain credit cards, right? And how knowledgeable they are when I want to talk to them about investment products, right? Can they give me the best solution? These are questions, right? And then information provided by the bank employees are clear and understandable. What the clarity, right? When you now this links with the knowledge. When you are not knowledgeable, you lose clarity, no? You lose clarity because you are also not clear. So therefore, you make the customer also confused. So how clear they talk to the customer, and whether the customer can understand what they say. I feel safe in my transaction with the bank. Do I feel safe? Arakshita, safe with the bank. Now, under assurance, you can ask these questions. The bank operating hours suits my need. This is access, right? The bank is easily accessible. Whether parking is there, can I can I conveniently go to the bank? And then the bank is favorably located for me. It's located close to me, and I'll be able to move fast. Uh, then empathy. Bank employees know to advise me what would be the most proper service for my specific needs. The bank considers my wishes and needs. Mawa තේරුම් ගන්නවා. මගේ අවශ්‍යතා තේරුම් ගන්නවා. They understand. Bank employees show understanding of my specific needs. Bank officers are visually appealing. Tangibles, huh? Now tangibles. Visually appealing. The bank has modern looking technical equipments. This is again a very interesting area. Huh? So you can have these machines and other stuff. The customers are interested in looking at those equipments, right? Printed material, what the quality of those brochures, monthly statements, bank cards, do they look attractive? Bank employees are suitably dressed and neat, considering the work they perform. Now, again, I've given you certain criteria, questions you can ask in assessing the service quality. So now you have an idea as a branch manager how you can approach improving quality and how you can assess the present status and areas you can work on in order to improve your service quality. Now, why you should improve service quality? What is the relationship with CRM when it comes to service quality? Now, Kotler and Armstrong says customer satisfaction can be defined as the extent to which a product's perceived performance, that what customer see as the performance he should receive, matches a buyer's expectations of the buyer. There is a strong positive relationship between service quality and customer satisfaction. So we know the quality, right? Quality is how the perceived performance and the exact performance, actual performance meet with each other. And the Parasuraman says there is a strong positive relationship between service quality and customer satisfaction. That means if the service quality is high, naturally the customer satisfaction will also go up. Right? Positive relationship. When service quality goes up, satisfaction level also goes up. So quality of service is dependent on two variables: expected service and perceived service. So it tells us that you can work only on two areas to improve the quality of service. That is by managing expectations or managing the service encounter, the perceived service. Customers will judge that quality as low if performance does not meet their expectation, and quality is as high when performance exceeds expectation. So it's nothing to do with reality, but it's always what the customer expects and what he perceives as he has received. Right? So when you close the gap, closing this gap, what is the gap? The gap between expected service and perceived service might require toning down the expectation. Either you have to work and reduce the expectations or adjust the expectations, or heightening the perception of what has actually been received by the customer, or making the customer feel the service that he got is high. Right? So only two areas to work on. It is well established that satisfied customers are key to long-term business success. So this stays, we have discussed this earlier, right? Satisfaction is the basis. If the customer is not satisfied, you can't talk about relationship. They will not come to you again. You can't talk about repeat business. So satisfaction is the key, right? So when the customers are satisfied, then they will stay with you for a longer time, and the customer satisfaction consistently for a period of time will lead to greater customer loyalty. So I can show you a very small diagram. This is a model that has been used by several researchers, and they have found this model as valid, and it is working, right? So how this model works, that it says service quality is the independent variable, right? So that is, service quality will change. Based on the service quality, dependent variable is customer satisfaction. So what they say is, when service quality changes, or when it goes up or down, customer satisfaction will also change. That tells you customer satisfaction will depend on service quality. So if service quality goes up, customer satisfaction will go up. If service quality goes down, customer satisfaction will also go down. So service quality is dependent on is arrived at using several other variables. What are the variables that will affect service quality? Reliability, responsiveness, empathy, assurance, tangibles. So based on these variables, service quality will change, right? So these will have an impact on service quality, and based on service quality, customer satisfaction will change. Based on customer satisfaction changes, the loyalty, customer loyalty, relationship, strength of relationship will have an impact, right? So now we see the link, right? If this is the case, if these variables affect service quality and service quality affect customer satisfaction, we can also say that these variables which we discussed on the serve call will have impact on customer satisfaction. So if you work on these variables and change these variables, you will see an improvement in customer satisfaction. Why? Changes in these will improve service quality, and as a result of that, the end result will be increased customer satisfaction. And when you have customer satisfaction, increase customer satisfaction for a period of time consistently, you will find the loyalty levels going up, because we know loyalty is a deeper feeling than the satisfaction. So loyalty is an attitude, so that will improve with consistent customer satisfaction delivered by your organization, right? So now let's look at some research study. Says in Turkish study, Yavas 1997 confirmed that three dimensions of service quality, tangibles, responsiveness, and empathy, are significant predictors of customer satisfaction. Now, here what these researchers have done is they have looked at what are the things the customers will look at most. What are the most significant things out of 5? That differs from culture to culture, that differs from country to country, that differs from market to market, that differs from segment to segment, right? What a certain customer value most depends on that particular customer, and basically you can do research to find out what Sri Lankans value more, what Indians value more, right? What high net worth segments value more, what small and medium entrepreneurs value more, right? So there are research that has been done. So let's look at some findings, right? So under this research, they say under the out of the dimensions, tangibles, responsiveness, and empathy are significant. Next one, let's look at the another research. To achieve customer satisfaction, banks cannot ignore the role of customer contact personnel. Reliability, responsiveness, empathy, and tangibles were also the explanatory variables in predicting customer satisfaction for Greek Cypriot bank customers. A study in retail banking also proved that among other drivers of customer satisfaction, the key explanatory variables are the dimensions of service quality, such as core and relational performance, problem encountered, and satisfaction with problem recovered. A positive and significant association also existed between customer satisfaction and relational dimensions of service quality, right? So these are some of the researchers what they have stated. Now let's look at few research studies. This is a relative importance of service quality dimensions, multi-sectorial study done by Sheetal B and Harsh V. It has been found that in banking, it is assurance at the first place, then responsiveness at the second place, followed by reliability, empathy, and tangibility are in order of importance. Now, what this is under this research, right? So as I told you, this can change, but this particular research, this is what they say. For the banking, they say assurance first place, responsiveness second, right? And then reliability, empathy, and tangibility. And they are telling, in the insurance industry, the order of importance is tangibility first, assurance second, responsiveness, reliability, and empathy. Fast food and beauty salon, responsiveness, empathy, reliability, assurance, and tangibility. And now that is for the beauty salon, and that is for the fast food. And for the beauty salon, assurance, empathy, responsiveness, tangibility, and reliability. Right? So there is right now in a fast food, even for us, that we want to make sure that they are responding to us, right? So when you go to the restaurant, if there's no responsiveness, then you will feel no one is looking at you. I have encountered this. I have gone to a particular hotel very recently, sat to have my lunch, and nobody is bothered, and no one is actually coming and asking me what I want. So I waited for some time and I walked away. Same with you, I think. If you go to a particular place, for even for a shop, hardware, if so nobody is caring for you and nobody is giving you attention, you will walk away. And then when it comes to beauty salon, right, assurance, right, that is important. When you go to a beauty salon, they must say, don't worry, we will make you look superb, right? We will, this facial will really change you. That assurance has to be given, right? And they should show that they understand you and they are trying to help you. So these are the findings under that research. So let's look at some other research. The retail banking, service quality dimension in retail banking, importance and effect. Robert Johnston, International Journal of Bank Marketing, says research suggests that certain actions, such as increasing the speed of processing information and customers, are likely to have an important effect in terms of delighting customers. However, other activities such as improving the reliability of equipment will lessen dissatisfaction rather than delighting the customer. Now, what is he saying? He's saying speed, increasing the speed and providing information fast to the customers will delight the customer. Reliability of the equipment is important, but that will not delay, it is expected. If you have a problem, it will create dissatisfaction, but if you improve, it will not affect too much on satisfaction. It is expected. People think it should be there, equipment should be reliable, right? Suggests that it is more important to ensure that the dissatisfiers are dealt with before the satisfier. And this is a very important thing, right? We are trying to look at certain things where we can delight customers, but at the same time, we must not forget that we must not do things that will dissatisfy the customer. There are things that the customer expect to be there, right? Customer expect things to be right. Customer expect there is a person to help him. So there are certain expectations. If you are a high net worth customer, you expect a dedicated relationship manager. If you are a corporate customer, you expect a dedicated relationship manager, right? Those are under those segments considered as basic requirements. So you must not meddle with those, because although those will not improve the satisfaction. They say, even if I go whatever the bank I go, I have a relationship manager. So it is expected. It will not, having a relationship manager will really not delight the customer, but not having will certainly dissatisfy. So you have to make sure that you deal with the dissatisfiers to ensure that you are meeting the expectations, and then work on certain areas where you will improve satisfaction, delight the customer, right? This research, they have suggested two areas where banks could achieve a distinct advantage: genuine commitment and attentiveness by frontline staff. Genuine commitment and attentiveness by frontline staff. So when a customer comes, you immediately respond, you welcome the person, and you show that you have interest to serve, and you genuinely try to help, you genuinely try to assist. So this actually will support a lot in building relationships. Then in a British Journal of Marketing Studies, customer satisfaction on service quality in private commercial banking sector in Bangladesh. Okay? So they concluded that service quality dimensions have significant impact on customer satisfaction of Bangladeshi private commercial banks. Now this is in line with what we discussed. We said no, service quality dimensions have an impact on satisfaction. So this is a research where it has been checked, and it was proven that there is a significant impact on customer satisfaction by these 5 dimensions that we are talking about, service quality dimensions. Right. Journal of Innovation. Service quality delivery and its impact on customer satisfaction in the banking sector in Malaysia. In this research, it's a combination of assurance, reliability, tangibles, empathy, and responsiveness together contributed to 62.1% effect on customer satisfaction. So again, it is a study where it has proven what the model that we have discussed. That is, there is an impact of the 5 dimensions we talked on customer satisfaction. Overall study on 5 dimensions, namely assurance, reliability, tangibility, empathy, and responsiveness, suggests that there is a strong effect of these 5 independent variables on customer satisfaction. Assurance, reliability, empathy, and responsiveness have no significant effect on customer satisfaction. On the tangibles have significant effect on customer satisfactions, right? So out of the 5 dimensions, tangibles has had a higher impact on customer satisfaction. So here what they say, the positive relationship between the dimension and the customer satisfactions. This is a study done in Sri Lanka, right? In Sri Lanka, the empirical study on customer satisfaction towards service quality of commercial banks in Sri Lanka, with a comparison between state banks and private banks. Let's see what they are saying. Researchers could say there is a positive, strong relationship between service quality and customer satisfaction at 99% confidence level. Now, in Sri Lanka, the study they have done also says there is a strong relationship between the service quality and customer satisfaction. So what we have discussed is proven, right? There is a significant relationship in all independent variables except responsiveness in private banks in terms of service quality dimensions. With regard to government banks, empathy and tangibility had significant relationships with customer satisfaction, while other service quality dimensions of reliability, responsiveness, and assurance were not statistically significantly related to customer satisfaction. In private banks, service quality dimensions of responsiveness, assurance, tangibility, and reliability statistically significant to determine the customer satisfaction, while empathy seems to be non-significant with customer satisfaction. The service quality dimension, tangibility, has higher explanation power of customer satisfaction in both banks. Right? So that tells you the importance of your physical appearance, right? Appearance of your branch and the people. So it is playing a major role. Again, another study done in Sri Lanka. The findings revealed that tangibles, reliability, and empathy had a significant positive effect on consumer loyalty, while the effects of responsiveness and assurance on customer loyalty were positive but not significant. Therefore, banks should develop proper strategies to tangibilize the intangible services, to provide reliable services to customers, and to deliver customized services to customers with more care. Although the mean value of empathy shows a higher level of service quality, the value is comparably low than the value of other dimensions, and further, its influence on customer loyalty is comparably higher than other dimensions. Therefore, banks should give more attention specifically to the dimension of empathy through giving individualized attention to the customers by employees and understanding the specific needs of the customers and their convenience. So this is what this particular research has found. But when you look at all these, you find the importance of tangibleness, right? So make sure that your branch looks proper, right? And another one done in Sri Lanka, is not required. Right. Effects on service quality, on customer satisfaction. The result of this study reveals that responsiveness and tangible dimensions of both public and private banks have significant lower positive impact on customer satisfaction. Moreover, this study shows that empathy and reliability dimensions with regard to public banks have lower significant positive relationship with the customer satisfaction. However, those two variables are statistically significant to determine the customer satisfaction regarding the private banks. Right. So this is what you have. What we have to say about the service quality, right? Now, after we have learned about the service quality, it's important that we talk about the gaps. Now, before that, talk about the digital innovations. Now, I told you at the beginning, earlier we had more face-to-face channels where the customers come and talk to us. The branches were there, but today banks are moving more towards remote channels where they are depending on electronic channels. So when they move towards electronic channels, how can they ensure quality? Now this is also an area where a research has been done, and they have found 7 dimensions to decide or to assess e-service quality, right? So what are those 7 dimensions? Reliability, responsiveness, privacy, efficiency, fulfillment, assurance, and empathy. So what they say is, when it comes to e-services, you have to work on these 7 dimensions if you want to improve e-service quality and improve customer satisfaction when they deal with your e-service products. So what are these? Efficiency. What is efficiency? Refers to the ability of the customer to get to the website, find their desired product and information associated with it, and check out with minimal effort. Right? So this means that your customers, when they wanted to do your internet banking or when they wanted to get information from your website, they should be able to quickly access your website, and the website should be arranged in such a way they will be able to find the information they require very quickly. So they will find the information, and it is easy. They don't have to wait a long time spending their data and time to find what they want. Second one, fulfillment. Incorporate accuracy of service promises, having products in stock and delivering the product in the promised time. Now this is more towards they are talking about malls. Now you go to online shopping malls, right? So you order goods, and when you order goods and they say, okay, we will deliver it within 5 days, and it should be delivered within 5 days. And after paying, if they say, okay, there is a stock problem, there we don't have sufficient stock, so it will now take 10 days or 15 days, things like that, then will actually remove the trust towards your website, right? Similarly, when it comes to your websites, certain requests by the customer, for example, if the customer has sent an email to change his details, if a customer has sent a request to change his standing order, change his address, things like that, or else if the customer has made a request to transfer money, those things have to happen as promised. If you say you pay by our internet banking, your credit card will be updated in 10 minutes. When you pay by the internet using internet banking, it should get updated within 10 minutes. When you pay by using your internet banking to his mobile bill, the mobile uh, should get loaded, or else the payment should go to that particular vendor immediately. So what you promise should happen, right? Then reliability is associated with the technical functioning of the site, particularly to the extent to which it's available and functioning properly. So that is less technical errors. When you are trying to do transactions, it should not create technical errors where your transaction get duplicated, or where it gets dropped. So those things should not be there. Fourth factor, privacy. That is to ensure that your shopping behavior, your data, your card numbers, right, and your information is secured. It is not been shared. So people, you must have proper protection in place, where the hackers or the other people, where the customer doesn't want, will come and hack the details, and we'll find these information, and your credit card information and the sensitive account information are being robbed. So if those things happen, then the customers will have a problem with the privacy aspect, and they will lose confidence. Then the fifth factor, responsiveness, right? So when there's a problem, now customer has tried to make a payment, and that payment has uh, not gone properly. For example, suddenly when he's trying to pay, there was a technical error. Now customer is having a problem whether this payment has gone or not. So they will inquire, have you paid this or not? So there has to be an answer quickly, right? Is this now there's a duplication that has happened. I want this particular transaction reversed. Now when that problem is escalated, there has to be a response quickly. Now I have gone with certain cabs, and when I try to uh, when I want certain issues being escalated, I found certain applications, when I say that I have a problem, immediately I get a response. But certain applications, I have got response after 2 days. I don't want to mention the brand names, but for certain applications, when I send them a problem, immediately within the day, I get a response. But for some people, I have sent a kind of a problem or a complaint, and I get a reply only after 2 3 days. Now, whom do you think that I consider quality? I consider the cab service that gave me immediate answer to my problem, to my complaint, as high quality service than the others who give me a response after 2 3 days. Both of them gave me a response to my complaint, to my problem, but how fast they do matters to me, right? Responsiveness, how fast you will interact with the customer when they need your help. Then compensation is a dimension that involves receiving money back and returning shipping and handling costs. Now, one of the critical problems that the online shopping malls and these online service providers meet is that the customers are afraid to pay in advance. Why? Because now when you go to a shop and pay money, you will take the product and come. Now in the website, there's a website, you are paying money to ordering a phone, and you have no guarantee that it will come to you. You are paying, you are going to a certain site and paying money, and now you have to wait. You don't have the product with you. Right? So there's a component of risk, right? So the perceptual the perceptual risk, right? So the customer will feel, will I get this product? Will I get the right product that I order? So you must make sure that the customers, when they have a problem, they will be treated properly and to instill confidence. For example, if they say that I didn't receive my product on time, how fast they will receive money and how easy it is for them to get it back, right? How you handle the shipping and handling cost, right? What is the return policy? These are very important, right? For example, certain websites, when you make a claim, saying, for example, you say, okay, I didn't receive the product that I ordered, immediately they will give you the refund. There are return policies. They say, okay, the moment you get it, within 2 days, if you return, we will give you the refund. There are certain websites talked about shipping and handling costs. They say, okay, if there's an error with what you have purchased, what you saw in the web, and the physical product that you got, if there is a difference and that difference is proven, we will bear the shipping and handling cost. So these service guarantees, right, and informations to instill confidence and performing what you promise is important when it in order to build confidence towards the electronic channels that you use to serve customers, right? So that is e-service quality. Now that is, when you are providing a e-service, what are the aspects you should look into? Reliability, responsiveness, privacy, efficiency, fulfillment, assurance, and empathy. Right. Now, having discussed this service quality dimensions, next is to understand service quality gap models. Now, this is a model which will help us to understand why there will be a gap between the expected service and perceived service. Right? So expected service and the perceived service, there is a gap. If there's a gap, that leads to dissatisfaction. And how these gaps will occur, you can understand using the service quality gap model. Now, let me explain this to you, and you need to concentrate on this. First one, this all starts with customer expectations, right? Now, customer expectations are being formed by the organization with several promises that they give, and at the same time, the customers themselves have expectations in them. Right? The first gap occurs as a result of the gap between what customers expect and what management's perception of customer expectation. That means customer is expecting that he needs to go to a branch at 7 o'clock, but management is thinking there is no requirement in the customer. It is okay to start at 8 o'clock. Now, this is a small example I have taken. So what customer expect and what management feels is not right, is not correct, right? So customer expect that I want early banking, I want at 7 o'clock on my way to office to go to the bank and get my things done and go. But customers, management may be thinking, no customer will come in the morning, there's no need. uh, Now even if you look at supermarkets, there can be customers who will think that we want to go to the supermarket early in the morning to serve. Yes, supermarket management might think, no, there is no customers the customers, there's no need to come in the morning. So this is just an example, right? So customer, what he thinks and what management thinks, when there's a gap, then the dissatisfaction occurs, right? So management perception is driven sometimes by the intuitions of certain managers. So they feel, okay, I want this, therefore customers also want this. This is a common phenomenon. No? So when the management feels, I want this, therefore all my customers also want this. So they tell the organization, act in this way. But the issue is customers are different. So therefore, management should not design service standards based on what they feel or based on their intuitions. They should first do a proper research about the customer, understand the customer expectations, and then design the service that they want to offer, right? Because if you take decisions based on your likings, then obviously you may not be meeting customer requirements, right? So the main reasons for this gap between management thinking of what customer want and actual requirements of the customer is due to lack of research. So inadequate marketing research is a critical is one of the main reasons for this gap to occur, where the lack of understanding of the customer, right? Another factor can be lack of upward communication. That is, most of the time customers are meeting frontline staff. They meet the branch staff. They meet. They will contact call center staff. They will meet the sales agents. Now customers give feedback to them. Customers will say, okay, if you can have extended hours, that is good. If you can have a cash deposit machine, that is good. Now the customer is giving feedback to these frontliners. They need to pass those feedback to the top management, who decides the policies and the service standards. But if they don't pass this information, and if the organization doesn't have a mechanism to gather this information, then the gap between what management thinks and what customer wants will increase, because management will not get the customer feeling. As I told you earlier, customers are so dynamic, they will change. Their behavior patterns, their values, their requirements, their attitudes, their lifestyle will change over a period of time, right? So these changes need to be communicated to the management in order for them to design the services right and the standards right. But if this is not being communicated due to lack of upward communication, and if the organization doesn't have avenues for the people to communicate their feedback, customer feedback, to the top, then this gap can occur. The next can be insufficient relationship focus. Now that is where the organization is not focused on building relationship, but are focused more on uh, doing transactions, finding new customers. So when you are trying to do transactions and trying to find out new customers and are driven by numbers and volume, you may forget or you may miss to listen to your existing customers, their requirements, their grievances, their changing needs. As a result of that, you may find a gap has been created between what your customers require and what you know about them. Then the next factor can be not having a proper service recovery mechanism, that is not having a mechanism to capture the customer feedback, such as when customers talk about problems, complaints, you don't have a mechanism to capture those properly, and you don't analyze those problems and complaints to find out why that complaint, where things have gone wrong. Is it something to do with our processes, something to do with our product, something to do with our people? You don't do this analysis proper, so that you will not gather the real feedback customers give you through their complaints and escalating problems to you. So when these things don't happen, you will create a gap between what customer really want and what you understand as his requirement, right? So lack of understanding of the customer. So this is called the gap one. And then the gap one is also is referred as market research gap. Market research gap. Right? So how you can close this gap is by working on areas that we discussed. Do market research continuously, have upward communication being built, have a good service recovery mechanism, right? And then focus on relationships and get feedback from existing customers. And these are very critical in order for you to close this gap, right? So first gap is what customer want and what management think the customer want. And make this happens in families also, you know. What you think as your child want and what your child exactly want. So when this gap happens, family conflicts, right? So you will fight with your child. So it's very important that you understand there's a generation gap. So you have to understand the child, listen to the child, right? Do a little bit of a research and understand the common expectations of the new generations, and change. Now I may be from generation X, maybe my children are from generation Z, right? So they are totally different. So if I what I feel that they want and what they really want may be totally different. So unless I understand them properly, I will not be able to build a good relationship with my child. Similarly, if you don't understand your customer properly, you will not be able to develop a relationship with your customer properly. So continuous market research and uh, effective communication among the organization with customers and good service recovery management system will help you to bridge this gap. Now gap 2 we call the design gap, right? So this is more towards service design. So it's management perception of customer expectations and the service standards. So based on the management perception, management will create service standards, right? So this may lead to poor service design if the management is not having a proper understanding about the customer, right? So not lack of understanding of the customer will create a poor service standard, right? Then these standards may not be customer driven. For example, you might say, okay, we will give you a credit card within 14 days, but perhaps the customer requirement may be to give it instantly or give it within 2 days. You might say our standard service standard is to respond to a complaint within 48 hours. But customer is say, hey, look, I can't wait 2 days to get a response. I need it now. Right? So management will say, okay, why can't he wait for 2 days? He can wait for 2 days. 2 days is not a big deal. Or 24 hours, 1 day at least he should wait. Now, maybe it's good for you, but whether it is accepted by the customer. So when you create service standards, right? Service standard, SLAs, service level agreements, you have to always ask the question whether I am creating or developing the right standard. And if you have lack of understanding about the customer expectations, then obviously you will create a poor service standards which is not accepted by the customer. So the customer will find, okay, this standard is not correct. Then the gap 3 is conformance gap. Now that is where the service standards that you have published or designed and the actual service delivery differs. So you say, okay, we will give you a credit card within 14 days. Now that is your service standard, but actually it will take 21 days or 30 days to give a card, process a card. Now your service standard and the service delivery, there was a gap. Service standard is 14 days. Now that is delivered after 25 days. So there's a gap of 11 days. So this gap will lead to dissatisfaction. Right? This gap will lead to dissatisfaction. So there's no conformance. Right? So when a customer comes, you say within 24 hours we will respond to your complaint, and you fail to respond within 24 hours. So there's a gap, right? Now, how can these gaps occur? For example, this can happen due to deficiency in human resources. So you will say to a customer, okay, we will attend to your calls within 3 rings. Now the customer is calling the call center and there's a call queue. Now customer is trying to reach, the rings are going, all existing agents are on calls. Or you say to a customer, when you call our bank, within 5 seconds you get connected. Now you're not getting connected, you are waiting for 1 minute or 2 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes. Now you are dissatisfied. You are saying, see, they are not meeting their standard. The reason may be lack of staff at the call center, lack of call agents. Or when a customer goes to a branch, you will tell him, okay, we will open your account within 10 minutes. But he's in a queue. Now he has come to your branch. Now almost he's in a queue for half an hour. Why? Less staff in the branch. Right? So not having adequate service personnel or deficiency in human resources, especially in the service sector, will lead to this gap, service standards and delivery. Then the another problem can be your intermediaries. You promise to deliver a particular service, but your intermediaries do not provide it. For example, you have an intermediary who will deliver your cards, the courier company. So before the renewal date, before the expiry of a particular credit card, you hand over renewals to this courier company, and the courier company fails to deliver before the expiry of the cards. Maybe the courier company is so disorganized, maybe the courier company is having so much of problems, but end of the day, what has happened? You have not met the standard, that is delivering the card before the expiry date. So it can be problems related to third-party service providers, outsourced employees, outsourced organizations, or intermediaries. Then this can also happen due to lack of ability to meet demand and supply. Now, for example, during the season time, there will be a lot of customers coming to your branch. There will be a lot of requests coming for credit cards, and there will be a lot of customers wanting services from you. Now, this particular season where there's a lot of demand, if you don't have enough people to man the units, then you will not be able to deliver the service standards right. Now, for example, now let's say that you have a credit card center which is processing 100 applications and you have sufficient staff. Suddenly during the season, because of your seasonal offers, you get 200 applications. Now what happens? The 100 applications is the capacity. You are getting 200 applications per day, and now you are accumulating 100 applications every day. So at that time, you need to temporarily enhance the supply. So for these, you may need to have different strategies. Even if you are looking at a branch, sometimes in the morning hours, the tellers are free, happy, smiling. But during the lunch hours or during the peak hours, huge queues. They're finding very difficult. Right? Even the call centers, when the bank announce a promotion, suddenly the calls will come. During the season, a lot of calls will come. But perhaps in a normal day they may not get that much of cost. So how do you manage this? It's a real critical thing, because the services need to be delivered when they are demanded, and you never know when it will be demanded because you don't know when the customer will come. And when the customer comes, if you don't deliver, if you don't have supply, you have a problem. So in service sector, you can't manage supply, you have to manage demand. Manage demand. Now, how do you manage demand? For example, look at happy hours. Now, if for a restaurant, if all customers go around 7 o'clock, then they will find it very difficult. So what they say, okay, 5 to 6, happy hour. So sometimes those who want to go at 7 o'clock may advance and go at 5 to 6 because there's a happy hour. They get a discount. Or a hotel might say lower rate during weekdays, higher rate during weekends. So what will happen is the customers who wants to go during the weekends may take a leave and go during the weekday to get the advantage. So the service requirement, the demand is managed. Another way to do this is to have technology coming. So you can have technology where you give automated services. For example, when a customer calls and say, I want to I want to check my account balance. Now he is consistently calling the call agent about the account balance. Now you can automate this. You will have automation where he say, okay, I want to check my account balance, press 1. Press 1, he gets the balance. Now you don't have to utilize your human resources. So there can be, you can do these strategies. For example, if a customer comes and stay in the queue, you can go to him and say, sir, why don't you use the cash deposit machine? Take him towards the cash deposit machine, so that now the customer will not come to the teller, he will go to the deposit machine. Or self kiosk. So you say, okay, you want to open a account, no need to stay in the queue. You can go to that machine and open. So likewise, you can use technology also to manage this. Right? And then another problem with regard to the service standards and service delivery gap can be the problem with the customer. So sometimes the customers do not have knowledge as to what they should do, and they sometimes don't care also. Right? And sometimes the customer will not give you proper information. As a result of that, you may not be able to deliver the promised service. So that also leads to the conformance gap. So now you understand how the conformance gap will create the gap between the service standards, what you have put as a standards, and the actual service delivery, the gap, the conformance gap. The fourth gap is the gap between the customer perception of service he should receive and the actual service delivery. Now the customer perception of the service is created by you most of the time, right? So you, through your external communication, create this perception. So you advertise saying, okay, if you come to us, we'll give you a leasing within 24 hours. If you come to us, we'll give you a housing loan within 48 hours. You advertise and you say, okay, we do this. And customer create certain expectations as a result of that, right? So the external communication largely drives customer expectation or the requirement that he expects from you. Now this gap can arise due to lack of integrated service marketing communication, and at the same time ineffective management of customer expectations. So it is important that you manage your external communication and educate your customers towards what they should expect from the organization. Then another thing that will lead to this gap is overpromising. That you try to overpromise in your advertising, in your promotions, in order to capture customers, but when it comes to your service delivery, what they have expected, the perceived service, and what really being given may not be right. Then inadequate communication is another factor that will lead to this gap. So you need to make sure that your service delivery is perceived by the customer as something that he expected, and that he is satisfied with the delivered service by reducing this gap. So the customer perception, the last gap is the customer perception of what he received, right? What he received, and customer expectation, the gap 5, will decide the customer satisfaction. So that is the customer satisfaction gap. So what he received, what he feel that he received, and then what he exactly wanted, what he exactly want. When there is a gap between these two, then the gap 5 will arrive. That is the customer satisfaction gap. Right, now let's look at it very simple way. Expected service can't wait. Then company will feel, no, why can't customer wait? Customer can wait for 5 minutes. That 5 minutes is not a problem. So when you have this type of now this is management feeling, customer can wait for 5 minutes. Customer's feeling is, I can't wait, I want it within the moment I go. Now there's a gap. So how can you close the gap? You have to listen to the customer through research, and then have the improved upward communication, and then create strategies to strengthen the relationship. So we can also put this model into this, right? So expected service, company's expectations of customer, company's perception of consumer expectations, which creates the gap 1, and the company's perception of consumer expectations versus customer driven service design standards, the gap 2. Then the standards and the actual service delivery, gap 3. The service you delivered and the perceived service, gap uh, 4. That is again through external communication to the customer, right? And as a result of the perceived service and expected service, the customer gap 5, the satisfaction gap. So what we just discussed is the gap model of service, right? So what you can do is that you can also go back to your organization and evaluate the gaps that you observe in your bank, the branch, and how those service gaps can be sorted, right? So, and a potential question on this area is that discuss about the different types of gaps that is available, and then discuss how you can close the gaps, so basically minimize the gaps, service gaps, in order to improve the service quality. So that is one of the potential questions that you might get. The next question we need to talk about under quality is the moment of truth, right? Now I told you the quality is a feeling that the customer will get, or attitude that he will generate towards your organization by consistently receiving service. Now, how do customers assess the the experience that they get? They look at the total experience they get from a particular organization, right? uh, so it comes to moments of truth, we say moments are uh, points or encounters that the customer will have with your organization, which will contribute to his ultimate evaluation about the experience or the service that he received, right? Now, when you, if you look at your branch, this can be from the time of parking, right? So if he has, whether he has a good parking facility, whether he is happy or unhappy when he wanted to park his vehicle, when he comes, how the security guard will respond, right? Did he face a situation where he is rude, or whether he faces a situation where he is nice and say welcome or good morning and open the door for him? That is another encounter. Then when he goes into the branch, how well he has been directed to the right person, to the right place to get his requirement done. Then when he dealt with the person, how well that person helped him to sort out his problem, right? And then when he wanted, or when he applied for a particular facility, how well he has been guided through the process, how easy the process, how convenient it is. Now there is another one. Then whether he got his facility on time, did he get the post sale support. Now, after giving him the facility, how he has been uh, followed up, and how well he has been treated in when he wants certain advisors and support. Now all these things are certain moments that the customer will go through when he comes to your branch to ask for a facility. Now, end of the day, if you ask him, what do you think about your experience in obtaining a facility from this particular bank? He will look at the sum of all the experiences he had during those encounters, and he will say it is good or bad. He is happy or not happy. He is satisfied or not satisfied. So therefore, remember, trying to treat a customer at a particular point, and then if you think that if I have only a good credit officer, very courteous person, it will help. It won't. You have to look at the overall process, overall experience the customer is going to get when he comes to your bank or the branch, right? From the time that he enters. So you have to find out, first thing you can do is to find out how many touch points are there, right? So you what you can do is now go back and ask a simple question. When a customer wants to take a service from me, or service from our bank, service from my branch, service from my department, how many touch points he will go through, what are those touch points, right? And then how can I make sure that he gets a better experience in each touch point? Now that should be your approach. So something you can do next time, you ask simply simple question: how many touch points? So we can ask you next time, in your branch, how many touch points you have identified? Another person will say, okay, I have identified this much of touch points. Likewise. So with this we come to the end of it. Right. So today what we discussed is about the concept of service quality. Basically, we found the relationship basis is satisfaction. If the people are satisfied, they will continue to stay with us. And to have this relationship going, the satisfaction, service quality is a key determinant. So if the service quality is high, satisfaction will also move up. If service quality deteriorate, satisfaction will also goes down. And if we increase service quality, we can obviously increase satisfaction level of a customer. And if we increase the satisfaction level over a period of time, it will create loyalty, which is our ultimate aim in customer relationships, right? And then we talked about how we increase quality, the 5 dimensions, right? And then we looked at the traditional one, and also we discussed about, when it comes to e-services, what are the dimensions we should look into. And then we moved to discuss the service gaps, right? Where will the gaps will occur, and how those gaps can be sorted, right? And then we also discussed the, we have to manage the moments of truth, that we have to manage the entire experience the customer will have with our bank or the branch, in order to improve our quality of service, rather than trying to match only one or two areas, work on one or two areas. So for that, we said we need to identify how many touch points the customers will have when they want to have a particular service experience, and work on each touch point to improve, in order for us to have a better quality service. So this is the summary of what we learned. Right now, I would like to ask from you whether you have any questions, or whether you would like to share any experience related to what we discussed today. Karunaratna, how about you?
So can you give an example about touch point?
Yeah, touch point can be like this. Now, for example, let's work on a particular area. Now, let's say a customer wants to have a credit facility, right? Credit facility. Can you see me? Hello, can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Board is clear for you? Right, okay.
Yeah.
Now, this customer is coming to your branch. Now, I would say first one is, you can say, the parking. Whether he found it comfortable to park his vehicle and come to your place, whether he found it difficult. Now that is one of the things. So if he finds it easy to park and come, then it's good. Now if you look at Keels, now they have huge parking slots, right? So we were at the initially, when we saw the concept, we were thinking, why do they want to have this much of a parking slot? But that parking space attracted most of the clients, because clients found it very convenient, right? Very convenient. You don't have to struggle to park, so you park and go. Likewise, first one can be, you can say, okay, parking. This is one moment, right? Whether he feels happy. Then it can be the entry to the branch, right? So entry to the branch, who do you get? You get the security, right? Now the security, whether he welcomes you, whether he gives you the sanitizers properly now, right? And whether he opens the door to you, whether he greets you. Now all those things will create a happy or a pleasant or an unpleasant feeling in the customer. Now he will have a feeling here at the parking slot. Now he will have a feeling at the entry. Now then he goes to the branch, right? Then the person, the service person, the encounter with the service person, maybe your credit officer or the branch manager, right? Now how well he has been treated, how well he understood his requirement, right? And then how well he offered solutions. And then it can be the processing. How many documents you have asked? How many times you have asked documents? Right? How easy the process? How long it will take? Now all these matters under processing. Right? Then it can be post support. Right? So after disbursing the facility, how you follow up with them, how you support, right? How flexible you are. Now, when if you ask the customer, how is your experience with this particular bank when you try to apply for a facility? Now he will look at all these things and then he will say, my experience with bank A in applying for a credit facility. So he will say, okay, poor, good, excellent. So all these matters, not only one, not only the processing, not only the service person, right? All these things matter, right? So that is one. So it can be even now this is one example. Another example can be, now you are having a relationship with credit cards. Right? Now let's take another example. Okay, this customer, he meets first encounter can be salesperson, right? How well the salesperson explain him about the product, right? About how supportive he is. Now then he applies for the card processing. So how fast the credit card was processed, whether he was given the card on time. Now he goes. Now he goes on. Now after some time he find, okay, there's a promotion, right? So promotions. Now when he's having promotions, he's happy. Right? He's delighted. So then when the relationship goes billing, right? How accurate the bills are, whether he's having problems with the bills, right? And then it can be now a complaint. So now there's a problem with the bill or the charges. Now he has complained. How the complaint was handled, right? And over a period of time, he might get an offer or an upgrade. Then he might stay with the card. Again, he might face some issues like a problem, technical problem. His card got declined. How well it was handled. Now, if you ask this customer, another customer comes to him and asks, hey, what do you think about bank A credit cards? Now, when he is responding as good, bad, he will not only think about one, but he will think about the entire moments that he has gone through, the entire relationship points, entire relationship, the overall experience, and he will say good or bad. Right. So for every customer, you need to manage all the moments and the encounters he will have with you in order to give him a pleasant experience or a bad experience. You can't manage one or two, because when the customers wants to say good or bad, it is not just because of one or two incidents that they are saying it, but they will consider all the encounters with you. Are you clear, Karunaratna?
Yes, sir, clear. Thanks.
So you can also look at your branch or the department and ask how many touch points are there, right? And then work on each touch point. So you can work on the parking. You can work on educating your or training your security. You can work on proper guidelines. You can work on the process improvements. So you think about the moments, and then you improve those, so that the customer will have a satisfactory encounter with you when at each of the points. Any other questions? Taparan?
No, sir. We didn't receive the presentations. That's why.
Which presentation, Taparan?
Today's one.
Today's one. All right,
Yeah.
right, okay. You are generally getting the handouts, no, Taparan? Did you receive the handout on research?
Last two handouts, we didn't receive anything from
You didn't
the
get the
site.
handout related to research?
No.
I saw it is been uploaded. Anyway, I will check with the office as well. If you have not received, I will make sure that you receive it. How about Karunaratna? Did you receive the note, Karunaratna? Is it uploaded?
No, sir, I didn't get.
All right, so we'll make sure it is uploaded. Now, are you clear in reading this material that I upload? You can read them well, right? I have uploaded, I think, a reading on concept, right? A reading on marketing mix, a reading on research. So if you have not got these three, I will check with the office. Taparan, have you received other ones, or you have not received only the research one?
Only the research one. Other ones I have received. Marketing mix and all these other one I have received.
Right, right. So research one, I see it there, so it will get uploaded, right?
Yeah,
and for this,
I feel again.
And this also, I will upload you a reading material, so you'll be able to read leisurely and get more knowledge on that. So are we done? Any other things that you want to discuss? Any other questions you have on the previous areas, or you want me to clarify? Right. If there is no other questions, we'll close for the day. Thank you.